going to do something today. I know it's a beautiful day. People should be outside, not in here watching me and my dumb ass do this. But I did want to do this because you guys have liked the way the eyes turned out on this. And I don't think I've done a glazing tutorial on how you can do this for those that wonder how it's done. Like I said, I use a fanwood glaze coat. This is the stuff that you would put on countertops, things like that. When I did my wood countertops in the kitchen, I bought this to do it, and then ended up using some stuff that I had that I couldn't use in some of the work that I do, mask-wise. So I ended up with this left over, and I thought, oh, okay, you know, this is epoxy glaze. I can just use this to glaze the eyes and teeth and that type of thing. So anyway, this is a two-part thing. It's a high gloss finish, so it works really well. You've got basically a side A and a side B. And these are mixed by volume and weight of volume, I'm sorry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up here real quick. Because when I mix this, I'm going to have to say the side real quick. And then I'm going to do a little product placement for somebody while this is setting up. So I'm just going to pour a drop of this in here. I mean, just a tiny drop. It's not even, it's a little bit. It's not even coating the bottom. Because a little bit of this stuff really goes a long way. And it's somewhat expensive. It's about $60 for the kits. So you really don't want to waste it. So that's why I'm kind of doing this just... And then put a drop of B in there as well. And so you basically come up with a little bit of a, I mean, it barely covers the bottom of the cup. And just mix it up. Mix it thoroughly. And because these eyes are so small, it doesn't take a whole lot to put on here. But you can mix it up, mix it up, mix it up. And this takes a little bit to dry. So while this sets up, I'm going to set this off to the side for a moment. And we'll come back to applying that in just a second because I want to get this. This is what I get from a company called Spray Gunner, and they are an airbrush paint company on the internet, and they are a pretty good supplier of anything and all things airbrushing, whether it be guns, parts, paints, whatnot. And I usually buy in bulk when I buy my paints. This is the paint that I have now. This is a what is this? I don't know how many ounces this is right off. But this is a smaller ounce bottle of the color that I needed. And of course I was going to run out. When things get about the halfway mark on my paints that I use a lot of, I go out and order another one. And this is the Tim Gore Bloodline. This is the Bloodline Decay. This is 8 ounce bottle. So I have a new 8 ounce bottle of Spray Gunner airbrush paint. Tim Gore is also a friend of mine on Facebook. Thank you, Tim. Has a new line, I believe, that's coming out or is that enhances even more in the Bloodline, but I have yet to get any of those paints. So now I have backup, so if I start doing a lot more work with different models and stuff and having to utilize colors, like I've got, for the Godzillas, I went all out and did the moss green. I ordered 3 of these, and these are 16 ounces. And I usually try to get 16 ounces in the colors that I get. Like here's my smoke black. the bigger bottles, and of course, this is not Jack Daniels, this is Jim Beam. This is acetone in a bottle. I utilize the bottles and stuff for empty liquor bottles and shit to do stuff with. Now what I'm going to do with this glaze is I'm going to put up a little bit of, on a Q-tip, and I kind of wet the Q-tip and get it kind of dabby, and then just go over the eye and put that glaze down and just roll it on there. There's enough in here that I can do both eyes. And I just take a Q-tip and just put it on there. And I dab some on the teeth as well, just to make sure to hit the teeth and kind of accentuate them. And I just take a little bit on this one and come over here to this eye and just put it on there. You got to be careful. You have to make sure that your paint is completely dry, because sometimes if you put the stuff on there, it will, and it's wet paint, it'll move it around and it'll distort the work that you've done. So you have to make sure that your paint has had enough time to dry before you put the stuff on. And just dab it on there and dab it in there. Of course, I'm going to hit this again on the teeth. Just rub it right over across the top of the teeth. And then you probably can see the shiny effect that that gives on this. And then another tip that you can do after you glaze it, if you want to give it kind of a milky white thing, you can take a little bit of opaque paint. This is white opaque, which means it's see-through transparent. It's almost a milky color. You can either mix a little bit with the clear coat, or, as I like to do it, try to lightly dry brush it on afterwards. It's easier to do it in a dry brush after, because if you make a mistake, you can take a Q-tip and easily get it off rather than mix it in the resin, and that makes for a better thing should you accidentally, inadvertently make a mistake. You don't have to worry about, oh, I ruined it. So it looks like it's a little bit filling in there, so it looks like it's getting sort of a teardrop here. So I'm going to very easily wipe that away. It starts running out of the eye socket, and I don't mind if it kind of, fills up the eye socket and it gets a little bulgy. That's okay, because that gives a real effect to an eye where it's curved and concaved. But the thing is that these eye sockets will have only so much room that you can put the stuff in. And then you want to be careful it doesn't drip and run down the mask, because then if it gets on the mask, it can, it leaves a glazed effect that you really don't want, and then you try to take it off and you end up rubbing that out, and then you rub out the paintwork that you put on it and all that stuff. So that's pretty much it insofar as a glaze tutorial. I'll see if I can get a better angle of this. This is actually showing off pretty nicely with the light reflection from the window. You can see how shiny and realistic that looks with the eyes. So I'm also going to put this video on YouTube as a tutorial, so it can help other people that maybe want to know or find out how to do this. So that will hopefully be able to help some other people out, artists as well. Um, but for the, pretty much the overall effect, that's basically it for the glazing of the eyes. You can do that with latex, resin, and silicone if you have eyes in, like on some of these things here. I have a couple of resin pieces. This is a Jaws Bruce Shark from Mike Schultz. If that were the glaze were to go off of there, I could put that on there. Here's a Bad Blood, which I haven't done the glaze on this one, because I'm not sure if I'm going to leave the eye like that for the time being. This is a Tommy Cassidy piece that I was privileged to get a blank and paint up. Want to put glaze on those. Here is a good one, for example, the glaze effect. The Tom Savini dummy prop that I did actually has a glazed eye, and it looks fairly decent in the reflection of that. I'm having to leave that there for the moment. There's half a dozen projects in here. I can put glaze on pretty much anything. It works wonderfully for resin, silicone, and latex. But, that's how you can enhance the look of a piece that you're working with, is by putting glaze over the eyes in resin. I forget exactly who it is that I was speaking to. I can't recall your name right now, but I did get another little Jason in. We'll start work on this production right now as soon as this dries. And then I will have this probably done and ready and put up for hopefully by Monday, I would think. Because I'm not doing much this weekend. And this guy is going to get flex sealed. This is a static piece, mind you. This one is too small to wear. This is very small. It's proportionate to the head size, but this is more done as a display piece rather than a pull over your head wear thing. Dwayne Mullett is the artist that sculpted this. He's told me that he would indeed think about trying to expand it a little bit bigger. It's going to be tighter on some people's heads. This one, however, unless you have a child-sized head, there's only been one other person I know that has actually bought a finished product of this, and actually he cut out the eye that I worked on and put it on, and it did fit him. And it did look good for what he needed, but these, like I said, these are more static display pieces. And I'm not sure if I'm going to foam this one or not. I'm thinking I may not go the foaming route on that one because I don't want to distort it. Same thing with this. Dwayne has said that if people are interested and they want to buy blanks from him, they can do that, and he can send them to me. I can paint them up. I told him that maybe he should consider foaming them if people want display pieces. He may be able to do that. I'm not sure. But if you're interested in one like this, Dwayne Mullett, you can find him on my friends list. Dwayne and then Mullett, like the fish, is the guy to talk to about getting one of these. He also does paint ups himself, but it depends on whether, A, he's got time, B, you like how he does it, or however you want to work it. You as a customer always have the final and last say on everything. So that's basically the essentials of all this. So anyway, appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to let this guy dry. And then I will be back out later to work on something else. But just want to do kind of an overall glaze tutorial for those that were interested in seeing it done or knowing how to do it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.